The prayer skill is arguably one of the most important available in the entire game, allowing players to protect both themselves and their items from disaster, while also allowing them to deal incredible amounts of damage. In this series I'll be using it to the fullest while trying to complete some of the most difficult PvM challenges and making sure an altar is always close by. This is my altar chunk Ironman. Hey everyone, and welcome back for episode 5. Last time I got into it a little bit about what kind of bossing content I'd like to do later down the line with this account, and my main focus for now is going to be the Barrows brothers. I've decided that I'll be using magic exclusively for the runs, except for Arims, who I'll be ranging. For magic gear I'll be getting full mystic robes from the Magic Guild, infinity boots and a mage book from the Mage Training Arena, and a god cape from the Wilderness Mage Arena. As for what spell I'll be using, I'm still kind of undecided on that. It looks like Magic Dart may be the way to go, which means I need to unlock Burglar route through questing so I can do temple trekking. 50 Slayer is required to use the Magic Dart, which honestly isn't too bad to get through the XP tomes. Unlocking the Ivan Staff would be my best option, but I don't think I can complete the quest successfully right now without burning through a ton of my prayer potion supply, and I'm just not ready to do that right now. I'm still doing more research into this and figuring out which option is going to be the best. I'll also need a decent food supply to take with me, and I know exactly where I'm going to get it. The Warriors Guild food shop sells cheese potatoes which heal for 16 points each and sell for a whopping 9 gold per potato. I'll need 65 attack and strength to get inside, which is perfect because not only does it save me a ton of time having to raise my fishing and cooking levels for other types of food, but it also means by unlocking the chunk that contains the guild, I can eventually get my hands on a Dragon Defender. I'll need 70 attack and strength anyways to wield some of the Barrows equipment, so this will just get me started on that grind. My biggest challenge is actually getting to Barrows itself. My two best options right now are either getting far enough through the fairy quest in Zenaris to unlock fairy rings and getting 50 agility to hop over the water near Morton, or getting all the way to 80 magic, boosting with a wizard mind bomb and making the Barrows portal in my house. The house portal would be ideal, but getting to 80 magic would be an absolute nightmare of a grind right now. The fairy ring teleport isn't too far away, and I could unlock the chunk to avoid needing to burn prayer while I take the winding path towards the Barrows chunk. And the nice thing is, in theory, I'd hit 80 magic eventually anyways just by doing Barrows runs, so I could build the portal later. Like I said before, I'm still researching and trying to find other ways to make this progress smoother, and I always appreciate suggestions from the community. But while I sit down and contemplate these more difficult tasks, let's go get to work on getting us out of the Warriors Guild and doing a few more quests now that I have access to prayer potions. There's 60 attack from hanging out at the hill giants just south of the Urenia altar. I was trying the moss giants on the island. I used to start agility, but even with the cake spawn, I spent too much time world hopping for cake slices. The hill giants don't hit nearly as often, so I'll be sticking around here for a while, but I want to get some better armor so I can stay even longer, and to get it I'll have to knock out a few more quests. The Champions Guild requires 32 quest points to get inside, and the store upstairs sells a rune chain body and rune plate legs, plus I can always get my anti-dragon fire shield later from the quest. So while deciding what quest I would do next to get myself to 32 quest points, I finally figured out a way to make some decent gold in the process. Starting with Goblin Diplomacy, I could eventually get the quest Death to Dorgashun. Progressing far enough in the quest will let me use the ham storerooms, which are under a secret trapdoor that you discovered during the quest. You can steal keys from the guards inside to unlock various chests around the room, all of which contain uncut gems and jewelry items. These sell for a decent hideout price, and I can use them to build up a bit of a cash stack. And it's just nice to see that the ham chunk came in use again so quickly. I just had to capture this moment the very first sip of my prayer potion stack. I was really surprised actually that I didn't even need to drink any during Goblin Diplomacy. Wrapping up Lost Tribe, which means I can move on to Death to Dorgashun. I also didn't notice before, but my prayer points don't drain during cutscenes, so that'll make some quests a lot less stressful. I'll be relying on my prayer potions more when I have to cover more ground during quests like Monkey Madness or the Underground Pass, both of which I'd love to complete at some point since the rewards from them are just way too good to pass up. So before I start Death to Dorgashun, I wanted to get myself to 32 thieving instead of 23, which is the minimum requirement for the quest. The reason being is that having a lockpick will make getting into the ham hideout and the storerooms a lot easier. The lockpick itself is going to come from the rogues, which are thankfully located in the same chunk as the mage arena and the wilderness, and require 32 thieving to steal from. Then I just need to get 2 full sets of ham robes so I can progress far enough into the quest. And having a full set will keep me from getting thrown out of the storerooms by the guards in the same area. I'll definitely finish the quest later, but for now I just want to start stacking up keys and selling off the jewelry. I have been trying for way too long to get this final ham piece. Whoever designed this quest has absolutely gotta be the same psychopath who came up with the one small favor quest. Once I had my robes, I just had to get through one quick cutscene and then it was time to start farming keys. There are 4 different types which come from the guards, each one linked to a chest in the storeroom. A vast majority of the loot I'll get will be sapphire jewelry and some coin drops, but the amount is so small it's not worth keeping over a different possible item. Doing this is also going to give me a ton of emerald rings and sapphire necklaces, which I can enchant for teleport items. There's also a chance of getting a diamond amulet, which can become an amulet of power. Even the recoil rings could be of use later, so I'm glad I decided to unlock this chunk to begin with, before even considering doing the quest. The only jewelry I can't get is dragonstone, but hopefully I can get more crystal keys in the future and get my crafting level up so I can just make my own glories and combat bracelets. After a few inventories and a trip to the High Oak shop in the wilderness, I could finally get back to questing since I only needed a few more points. The witch's house gives you 4 points and all you have to do is kill the experiment in her shed, so that was an easy choice with my combat stats being as high as they are. After that I just decided to do sheep shear for the final point before going back to the Champions Guild. I did see a comment on my last video that you can just buy balls of ore from the general store in Arty, but sadly I didn't see it in time before I'd already gone and done the quest. I've definitely got to start paying better attention to the wiki when it comes to getting easy item grabs. It was great getting that rune Fullhelm drop so fast from the greater demons, but I completely missed the part where I could have just gotten the gold bar for my first magic amulet from doing Goblin Diplomacy. Okay, I've been back at Hill Giants for a while now with the new rune armor, and the trips are lasting way longer than before. And I finally hit 65 attacks, so now I just have to knock out 65 strength, and it's on to the Warriors Guild to start stocking up on those potatoes. So I may or may not have missed getting 65 strength because I didn't have OBS open, but either way I can finally get inside the guild with the new chunk unlocked and start buying up my cheese potatoes. I could stay for a while and start working on getting the defenders, but I'm not really going to need them for Barrows, so I'll just come back and do it another time. For now I'm just going to knock out more magic training and make a little more gold after buying the rune armor since it basically depleted what cash I had. And that's going to be 55 magic, so now I can cast High Oak. I'll still use the wilderness shop, but this can save me a lot of world hopping. So after looking into it a little further, I decided it's just time to torture myself and make the push for 80 magic. Getting the quest done to unlock fairy rings would absolutely take less time and gold, but I'd be much better off being able to drop myself off right at Barrows from my house portal. Plus there are also plenty of other portals worth having. I'll need to get my construction up to 50 to make the portal chamber, so I can either do more limestone runs or I can just shill out the gold and pay for oak planks. The sawmill charges 250 gold per plank, so I'll need to save up another 164k after I'm done with my magic training, which is perfectly doable with a little more time spent in the ham storerooms. I've got a few options for magic training, and it looks like using the Alchemy Room at the Mage Training Arena is going to be my best option. Nature runes are a little pricey, but if I'm able to get even close to the XP rates most people have mentioned, it actually won't be that bad. I'd rather not embarrass myself with really bad calculations, but needless to say it's going to be my best choice, at least for now. The Alchemy Room, for those who don't know, has you collect specific items and high oak them for a certain gold value defined by the minigame. You can dump those coins into a deposit and gain 2 XP per 1 coin, and thanks to RuneLight telling you where the items are in the room, it makes the process even easier. I'll need to come to the arena eventually and stack up points for the gear I want anyways, so this will be a good start on the alchemy points. I can also unlock the incredibly useful Bones to Peaches spell. I spent enough time in the storerooms to get roughly 100 of every key, so hopefully that'll pay for quite a few nature runes so I can head over to the arena and get started as soon as possible. With a few more quest points stacked up, my food source unlocked, and my cash stack starting to look a little bigger ahead of my magic training, that'll be a good place to end this episode. Depending on how much time I can put into the alchemy room every day, the next episode might be a little bit behind the others. I've been pretty good about keeping up with weekly uploads, at least for the first handful of episodes, but when longer grinds like this come along, I'll just have to take a little more time. Plus there's plenty of other things I want to get done after hitting 80 magic, like more quests and getting my ranged up for fighting Arims during my runs. But before I go, I wanted to just mention 2 more things. The first is giving a shout out to one of my subscribers for gifting me 2 bonds to put towards my membership. It was actually the player I met while farming that gold bar at Greater Demons, so thank you very much for that generous gift. The other thing I wanted to talk about is a few comments I've seen that talk about changing the way I handle underground chunks. Some people have suggested that instead of using the chunk I drop down into, that I instead should be allowed to use the entire underground area that's directly connected to it. So for example, I would be able to use every part of the Edgeville dungeon instead of just the chunk underneath the Chaos Altar where I farmed herbs and did my agility training, so let me know what you think about those possible changes to the account. Next time I'll be going for the last few things I'll need before I can finally start my Barrows runs, and I'll be heading into Mauritania for the first time. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in episode 6.